Hello, how do? Welcome back to Edgar TV. We're out on the road, which means no fancy studio, but this is a topic I felt I just needed to discuss, and it was something I felt I couldn't wait till next week when I'm back in the office, so we've turned on my travel camera, my travel setup, to discuss this in length. This comes down to the fact that I believe the ranking systems are incorrect, or the ranking systems are wrong, and this has been sort of misconstrued in a lot of different ways, a lot of different opinions being put forward on this, and I thought I need to be able to answer this in a bit of a long form, and I've got a platform of which to do it, so we're coming on here on Edgar TV to discuss this. Now this comes in relation to a lot of videos that I've made, or a lot of comments I've made, where I'm making these comments in little small 10-second windows where I can't give you the full explanation. Right now I can, so strap yourselves in. If you've been linked to this by me anywhere, this is the long film explanation for you to tell you why the ranking system is wrong. The ranking system is wrong, and I do this and I've linked this to the relations of conversations I've had with Michael Smith, Christoph Ratajski, Dimitri Vandenberg, where we've got those big name players not in the World Match Play. Now, Michael Smith 2 years ago was the number 1 seed for the World Match Play. How does he, in the same cycle of defending money, not even qualify in this system? Okay, he's not won enough games. I think that's a bit of a lazy answer though in regards to this, because that's a significant drop to go from number 1 seed to not being in it within the same cycle. Now, the reason I say the rankings are wrong is because overnight, in the last 4 to 5 months, Michael Smith has not dropped from being right at the very top to now being outside the top 16 to potentially going outside the top 32. The same way, going into this year's World Match Play, Nathan Aspinall is the world number 7, and he could come out of it around about 24 or even lower, depending on how this tournament goes. In 1 week, Nathan Aspinall hasn't gone from world number 7 to world number 24. That's a process that's taken time, and the rankings will suggest, bang, there it is. Now that'll move Nathan Aspinall outside the top 16. That's significant, because now he's not in things like the World Grand Prix, the World Match Play as a guarantee, as a seeded player. He relies on things like the European Tours and the Pro Tours to get him into those events as a non-seeded player. That didn't happen overnight, that's happened over a period of time, which is where I suggest that the ranking system is incorrect, in the fact that these massive jumps happen. Let's look at it the other way around. Let's look at the flip side of this, the positive. Someone goes and wins a world championship this year. Let's say someone in the top 32 towards the bottom end has a dream run. They win the world championship, £1 million. Instantly, they go into the top 4 of the world for 2 years, which means they're in the Premier League for 2 years. They're in all the big major events for 2 years. They lose every single game, they end up losing the million in 2 years' time, and overnight they go from being one of the elite players in the top 4 of the world back down to being just inside the top 32. Which means they're qualifying for events they maybe shouldn't have. Is this the first event Michael Smith's not qualified for, but maybe he shouldn't have qualified for others? That's another debate which you've got to look at. Has he been in the top 16 too long, where he's been protected by his rankings, allowing him to underperform? You know, you win the World Championships, you don't have to play anything. I'll just play the majors. I won't bother with anything. I'll just play the majors. I've got 2 years now where I'm going to be in everything, including the Premier League. This is where the problem lies. Now, in order to fix this, I don't have the full solution. This is something else I talk about quite regular. But what I would suggest, in my personal opinion, is a decreasing amount of that value. So, for example, world champion gets £1 million. That's divided into 24 payments. Around about 40,000. It's a little bit more, but around about 40,000. So January they get $1 million on their rankings. February it depreciates by 40,000. It's now 960. March it's now 920. So it decreases and it devalues. Is that the most perfect scenario? Probably not, but I think it's a more fairer way of a reflection of form. Now, the World Match Play is the top 16 players over 2 years against the top 16 informed players. The top 16 informed, based on a 1 year rolling cycle, absolutely. Is 2 years too short if you're going to have a depreciating value? Maybe it should be 3 years. You get the World Championship money for 3 years, and over 3 years it decreases while you're on there. So, interesting, I'd like to know people's thoughts on that, but this is the reason why I believe the rankings are incorrect, and it's not a true reflection of the system, because it's just bang, it's gone, bang, it's gone. And, you know, what relevance does that have right now? When we look at the form line of right now, what relevance does it have that 2 years ago Nathan Aspinall won £200,000? The relevance of that is overnight he's going to drop from being challenging the Premier League positions in the top 4 to, oh, now you're in danger of dropping out the top 32 overnight. Just doesn't feel properly a reflection of where we are right now in 2025. And I hope I've made the point or explained it in a method that helps you understand the reasoning for why the ranking system, I believe, needs a couple of little tweaks. Catch you soon.